Here with Paul Mead up here in Darwin, north of Australia. Paul is a renowned sports consultant up in these parts, and we're sitting inside a squash centre, which might be why it sounds a little bit echoey, why there's a bit of noise around and all those sorts of things. But there's a good reason why we're in a squash centre, and you had a large part to play with getting this place sorted, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was an absolutely amazing project. So the Darwin Squash Association, back in 2010, as with a lot of squash centres around the country, they were getting converted. Landlords were knocking squash centres down, and so we were losing our premises. And down the road now they're into big apartments and all of that. And so we successfully lobbied the government of the day to provide a grant of $4 million to build the centre. And I was sort of involved right from the start with that, which was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And as the president of Squash NT, project managed the building of the centre, and then was lucky enough to be involved in the operations for the first 12 months as well with the staff. So yeah, an absolutely amazing opportunity, and it is a world-class facility.
Yeah, it's great.
We've got the squash centre's got the world doubles tournament here later on in the year. So it's a pretty cool place.
It is. It's very cool. Lots of kids having a good time as well, which is always nice to see. But it's not only squash that you work with. You work with a range of sports at all different levels. What are some of these sports that you work with? Yeah,
look, so working with everything from your basketball clubs through to your state sporting organisations here, and integrate into national sporting organisations as well. Done work with the Northern Territory government. But my real passion is probably like you, Isaac. It's about giving volunteers tools and an understanding of what they can achieve, and helping them achieve that success within their organisation. Because as we know, we've been there, we're involved in volunteer committees, and we know that it's hard work, and we know sort of that it's not all pretty, but sometimes you just need that shoulder to lean on, and just to help get things moving. And I hope that at times I provide that shoulder to lean on, so that they can take that next step and just create successful clubs, because we love sport.
Yeah, well, having met a few of the peak sporting bodies last night, it sounds like you are doing that, and you're providing that framework for these groups to sort of, once you understand how to do it or where you're going and have that sort of strategy, long-term planning, you can really start to execute and achieve those goals, whether it's $4 million squash centres or new club rooms or new lights or canteens or whatever it might be.
Or just getting the club with a clear purpose, and getting a team culture going within your committee and board, so that everyone's moving in the same direction. Often that's the most simple thing that we have to do, and then you can start to achieve those club rooms and those bigger projects. But absolutely, it could be a small project, could be a large project.
So with these, when you come into a club, what's the first thing that you look for or look at when you come into, the usual sort of sports club or not recreational club where you've got the token 4 or 5 people on the committee and things are running, shall we say, average for the financials and all those sorts of things? What is it that you sort of pick up on?
The number one thing that I ask the clubs and the communities that I work with, what's your purpose? What's your purpose in life? Why do you exist? Why are you turning up every day to build a customer base? Because at the end of the day, your members are a customer base, the people that are consuming the product that you're putting out there. Why do you do it? What is your purpose in life as this club? Because if you don't have that clear purpose of why you exist, then you're always going to be torn in different directions by the committee members or by your members. So defining that purpose first up, and we can call it a purpose, we can call it a mission statement, we can call it a vision, whatever it is. But why do you turn up every day and do what you do? And once we got that clear, then we can start to develop some of those strategies around, how are you actually going to achieve that purpose? What are some of those key 3, 4, 5 tasks that we need to do over this next 6 months, over the next 3 years, to work towards achieving that purpose?
sure. So I've noticed that it's an ongoing debate about sort of the non-profit mindset versus the commercial mindset with these groups, and I think a lot of it comes down to asking these volunteers and people that are running and being administrators to sort of switch to a more commercial mindset with the way that they're thinking about their organisation and spending money or spending resources or planning to get these sorts of facilities and what have you up and going. Do you find that there's that sort of struggle a little bit with it, or?
Absolutely. Look, I think that there's been this huge shift in sport, or that is still ongoing, but it's because of the way in which our community participates in sport now. You know, we've got people who are time poor, we've got volunteers. You know, we're feeling that we don't get as many volunteers to our clubs, and so how do we do more with less? Well, people are willing to pay money, you know, but they want a quality product at the end of the day. And if you're going to provide that quality product as a club, or the gym down the road is going to provide that quality product to get for their lifestyle dollar, the consumer doesn't really care so long as they're getting a good quality product. So they're going to go for that. So our clubs have got to change their mindset around thinking, okay, we've got to provide a quality product for what people are paying. But it's also not so much what people are paying, it's with cash, but in their time as well. So an hour of my time to turn up and play sport, I want to get in there, I want to play some fantastic sport. I don't want to be mucked around with having to deal with a lot of that off-court or off-field stuff. You know? So yes, you've got to have that commercial mindset. It's a big shift, and it's a really interesting one that I've worked with a couple of sports around. Squash was a big one, you know, that we changed from having a club that was run, a facility that was run by a management committee, and you know, that it was there for the members. We made this centre a business model, and that you've got clubs that operate within here, but there's very much a commercial model beside that around recreational players, around other products that serve to provide, you know, so in here this morning we've had the play move learn, which is a squash NT product that is for 3 to 5 year olds, I think. It's just all about playing, moving and learning how to use those fundamental skills that we need to play sport. They've chucked it in the program. It's not squash, it's just fundamental skills. So selling that sort of stuff to parents, but whilst you get those parents in here, they're also buying a coffee at the counter. They're also got their older kids that are playing down the squash programs at the end. They come in here and they go, what a great experience, I want to come back here.
There's always a bit of a grind, or there can be growing pains, shall we say, in moving from a traditional community club that's been around 30 years or what have you, and then sort of being forced or what have you into a more commercial mindset. Was that a sort of thing? You obviously took a few local clubs and brought them under one roof. That's a challenge, I'm sure, in itself. Then there's these whole lot of things that go on with a change of mindset. Did you find those sorts of things?
Oh, look, 100%. You know, that you've got personalities in sport, and personalities are what drive a lot of agendas. And so that's where it's got to come back to what's our purpose, what's our strategic intent behind all of this, so that then you get your team on board, you get your board or committee on board with where we're going, and then all those personalities that are around that, then you can say, well, this is the direction that we've agreed on as a sport that we need to go. You've had that member involvement in developing your strategic plan. So you're always going to get those personalities, and you're always going to get those people that won't agree with the direction, and that's fine, because I think that you need that criticism to keep yourself honest. You need that criticism to make sure that you're questioning yourself and go, well, is this the right direction? And so that it strengthens your plan and it helps to fill out all of those weaknesses. But but you've got to have that purpose and that strategic plan so that you can keep that momentum going. Otherwise, those personalities will take over, and then things start to fall apart, which is inevitable in a lot of committees that haven't got that clear plan.
Yeah, or the tools. So we showed our platform Tidy HQ to a bunch of peak sports bodies last night with netball and football, soccer, and a few others. How do you see a tool like us helping with that future or future direction or planning or what have you?
Yeah. Look, as I said to the group last night, I think this is a game changer. So what we're presenting on today is we're talking about performance, parts, patterns and performance. And so we want to have performance outcomes for our athletes, for our organisation. That's made up of robust patterns, but those robust patterns are made up of parts that are strong. And your tools or your software provides those tools that are essential parts to good governance, that are essential parts to an effective committee or board, but then they also help to create absolutely fantastic patterns around the way that the board interacts with their members, that the way that the club interacts with its members around events, and how the board has, or the committee has, patterns within itself and the way that it manages its finances, the way that it gets information out, that tasks are getting done. So as soon as you start to put those sorts of tools in place, then you can have really strong parts to build robust patterns, and so of course you're going to have a fantastic performance outcome for your organisation. I think that your tools and your software are a game changer for the sports community, whether it's here in Australia or around the world. Look, I'm looking forward to sort of seeing how that comes about. There's sometimes when you get some software that has been developed, but it hasn't come from the grassroots. It hasn't come from people who have a true understanding of what it's like to sit there and get frustrated. You've had that. You've built it out of frustration. You've built it out of the need, and so you get it. And I think it's going to be successful.
Yeah, that was the common feedback that we got last night after the presentation was instead of having these big heavy systems that are built for national or state bodies, to have something that was built genuinely for the grassroots and then feed that information back up to their peak sporting bodies so they can make better decisions and communicate more effectively to these groups. They were pretty positive about it and glowing about it, so I think a few light bulbs went on last night. Thank you very much for having me in Darwin. I'm sure we're going to do another one or two of these before I leave, and I hope you enjoyed that. Bit of a discussion about sport and all sorts of things that are around it up here in Darwin. See you later. Ciao.